Hi, I'm Miranda.
And I'm April,
And this is the True Crime Co.
a podcast about everything macabre and mysterious.
Today we're going to talk about the Valentine's Day Massacre of 1929. Our story today takes place in the 1920s in Chicago during Prohibition and mob era. We're having a little bit of a debate before we started today about the difference between gangsters and mobsters. I don't think there was one in 1929.
I disagree. Babyface Nelson was a notorious gangster. He's a gangster.
Robber.
He had a Tommy gun. He killed people.
So did Al Capone. So is he a gangster? Oh my God. See, now she's saying that. They're gangsters. When we started this, we were
you know
mobster.
You know what? We're going to have to... Did you Google the difference between gangsters and mafia in the 20s?
No, I didn't.
Anyways, get to what we're talking about
Per
today.
usual, I did very limited research and just planned to go by blowing smoke.
Of everybody's ass.
It's been pretty productive so far.
And you wonder why we don't really have a lot of views.
Hey.
Maybe it's because we're terrible.
We have a couple.
Couple 5'10", something like that.
Most of them are my mother.
That's not true. I watch it too sometimes.
I was going to say you and Mike.
Mike stopped watching it.
That's
Well, he's been working a lot. You have to forgive him.
Well, he can put AirPods in and listen at work.
Methuselah? You're talking about AirPods to Methuselah. He barely even uses... Never mind.
He has an iPhone.
No, he doesn't. He has Android.
Oh. That explains why his text bill was already green. I don't text him a lot. I don't remember.
Well, we're already really off topic because we haven't even gotten to the topic today.
Okay, I already said that we're doing the Valentine's Day Massacre of 1929. I introduced the topic. I can't help that we derailed.
Immediately?
Yes, pretty immediately. Okay, so at the time, in 1929 Chicago, there are two big players that most people have heard of. The first is George Bugs Moran, who was a bootlegger, and then the crime boss, Al Capone. Everybody's heard of Al Capone. He died of syphilis. Tragic.
I bet you not everybody has heard of Al Capone.
Well, now they have, and they know he died of syphilis.
Yeah, everybody who listens to this, you whole 10 people. Thanks.
The word will get around. Rude.
Yeah, they're talking about Al Capone. Who's Al Capone? Don't know. He lived like 100 years ago.
He's a flamboyant crime boss.
Oh my God. He lived like 100 years ago.
That really was almost 100 years ago.
Oh my God.
It's 2024.
Oh my God. I mean, he was born over 100 years ago.
Well, he's dead. Spoiler alert.
I'm thinking everybody knows that he died of syphilis since you just said it.
Yeah. Anyways, now that you've realized how
old I am?
Yeah, like you were alive in the 20s.
I know. It was just, you know what? When I was young, I was much closer to the 20s than I am now.
Yeah. People are like 30 years ago and you still think they're talking about the 70s. They're talking about the 90s.
No, 30 years ago, I think they're talking about the 80s. And they're actually talking about the 90s.
When they say like 30 years ago, that's not quite 30. Right. All right. So, February 14th, 1929. Okay. 7 men associated with Bugs Moran
Bugsy
are in the CMC. I'm sorry. They are in the SMC Cartage Company garage on North Clark Street. And around 10:30 a.m., 4 men get out of a black Cadillac. 2 of the men are dressed in police uniforms. They go into the garage, eviscerate the 7 men, shoot them up with Tommy guns. Okay.
You gonna put in a picture of the Tommy gun?
Yeah, maybe.
Since they're now outlawed and you're not allowed to have one.
Post-production. Everybody knows what Tommy gun is.
I bet you they don't.
Okay. They go in with Tommy guns, shoot up 7 men, and then the 2 dressed as officers escort the other 2 men with their hands up out of the building into the black Cadillac and drive off. This is verified by eyewitnesses. So, let's talk about who the 7 men are, because I forgot to do that.
Was one Bugsy?
No, actually, so the 7 victims were a mob accountant named Adam Hayer, second in command Albert Kachlek, nightclub owner Albert Weinshank, enforcers Peter and Frank Goonsberg, and mechanic John May, and then a guy named Reinhard Schweimer, who was an optometrist.
An optometrist.
Yes. So you have a mob accountant, the second in command, 2 like Goonies, a nightclub owner, an optometrist, and a mechanic.
Sounds like the perfect ensemble for robbery.
No, there wasn't a robbery.
Okay, so it sounds like a perfect ensemble for murder.
There you go. So, 6 of the men were dead when police arrived on scene. One of the men, who was one of the Goonsberg brothers, I can't remember if it's Peter or Frank, but one of the Goonsberg brothers stated that the cops did it. Or, so it's conflicting reports. They say that he told responding officers that the cops shot him, or he could be heard saying that nobody did it. Nobody shot him, because he's not a snitch, obviously. So, any thoughts so far?
No.
Where are you listening?
Mostly.
Okay.
I was actually looking up to see where the word goon came from, because I'm just curious. It was because of the Goonberg brothers.
I feel like you could have waited.
I could have.
So you have 7 men affiliated with the mob, okay? One's a nightclub owner, one's a mechanic, one's an optometrist. The rest are actually working in the mob. And these are...
They all were working in the mob.
Obviously, they were all affiliated.
Because somebody has to have a personalized eye doctor.
We got it. They're all affiliated with Bugs Moran, okay?
Bugsy.
4 men get out of a black Cadillac at 10:30 a.m.
I look at all that.
Garage, shoot them dead with Tommy guns, which I'll share a picture of, and then leave as if they're being apprehended.
So why'd they kill them?
Well, there's multiple theories. So, first question, because I'm following this history.com article, okay? We have to go in order of that.
We don't really, but okay.
I'm going to, because it helps. So here's the first theory. And this addresses why they were in the garage. Because some of the men were dressed like really nice in suits and had thousands of dollars worth of money in their pocket. Like thousands of cash dollars.
Yeah, that's what gangsters used to dress in. It's like to the nines.
I really miss it. Really think we should bring it back. I don't miss it because I never saw it, but I wish we could bring it back.
What, guys in suits?
Yes.
I get where you're coming from on that.
Looks so nice.
Yes, I mean, seriously. I really like it when you find videos with men in like vests and slacks and button-up shirts.
Right.
And a tie.
Me too.
Not so much in the office, but on those videos, yeah, sure.
Some people speculate that they were like invited to a meeting early in the morning. Maybe it was real, maybe it was a ploy to get them all there. And then that Al Capone had thought Bugs Moran was going to be there. So he ordered the hit, but Bugs wasn't there. So that's one theory, is that Al Capone was trying to take out his competitor and ended up taking out some pretty important people. Also, Al Capone had an airtight alibi. That's why I say ordered a hit, because he was actually in Florida being prosecuted for another crime.
How do you get an airtight alibi? Go to court.
Yeah, that's right.
Done.
And I mean, his biggest motive for calling the hit is because, you know, rival gangs. I guess some things never change.
I mean, yeah, it changes now. I mean, now they, you know, well, I guess they had drive-bys then too.
Mm-hmm.
There's that.
Some of Al Capone's guys were actually brought in, like, were arrested for the murders, but they were released.
It didn't stick.
It was a lack of evidence.
They didn't stick, see?
Oh my God. You're so embarrassing.
What are you talking about?
So, the mob historian stated that in his 2010 biography, Get Capone, that if Capone had wanted Moran dead, he would have stationed a lone hitman outside the rival's house instead of killing 7 people and hoping that Moran was there. So basically, he's saying that if it had been Al Capone, he would have been more organized and would have effectively completed the job with one hitman instead of bringing in multiple people. In late 1929, Fred Killer Burke, a sometime Capone associate, fatally shot a police officer in Michigan, and they found a huge cache of weapons at his house. And in that cache were 2 Tommy guns that matched the bullets from the St. Valentine's Day hit. He got a life sentence for killing the cops, but was never even questioned for the hit at the garage.
Isn't it just called a cache?
What'd I say?
Cache.
I really don't like you. I really don't care what it's called. In 1935, Byron Bolton, who was part of another gang, allegedly confessed to participating in the massacre.
Not from the Dragon show.
No. But federal officials and local officials were like, that's not true. That didn't happen. This guy's a liar. And that was that. That was all of that.
You're a dirty rat.
So, according to a 1936 summary in FBI files, Bolton claimed he purchased a Cadillac and was present at a Wisconsin resort with Capone, where Capone planned the hit. He also named 5 triggermen, including Burke and other American boys, all of whom were dead, missing, or in prison. So,
were they all sleeping with the fishies?
Oh my God!
What? You're talking about the 1920s. You got to put in some slang.
It's hard to corroborate your story when all of your witnesses are dead or in jail.
Sleeping with the fishies.
Or sleeping with the freaking fishies. I cannot stand
Well,
it.
I'm sure they did say fishies. I'm sure they just said fish.
Put them with the fishies.
We're like, oh my God, Al, you're so cute. Saying fishies.
Oh my God.
Yes. Not only Miranda hates me, everybody else hates me too.
Fishies. I just imagined like Al Capone, because I looked at a lot of pictures of him during my research. I just picture Al Capone saying, put him with the fishies. In a 1935 letter, Frank Farrell, a state highway employee, urged FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover.
Gee, Edgar Hoover.
Anyways, Frank Farrell urged Hoover to investigate a fatal shooting in 1928 of William Darvin Jr., who was a Chicago police sergeant's son. So Farrell says that Darvin told his hoodlum cousin, I'm quoting this directly, told his hoodlum cousin William, Three-Fingered Jack White, that Moran's enforcers had shot him. White then arranged the massacre for revenge. So, maybe it
So
was.
they had beef, eh?
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Because we're going to die because mobsters are going to kill us because you're making fun of their culture.
I am not. I am using their culture in our podcast because it's about gangsters. So I'm using slang.
From when?
Allow it.
From when?
It's like classy. It just keeps going. Except for the fishy part. That was just.
So one theory is Al Capone paid another gang sector to take him out. Some people don't think Al Capone would have done something so secret. I think he would have just had him killed straight out, which fair.
Yeah, I don't think so either. He was kind of like a theatrical person, right? He was just like, yeah, I did it. What you can do about it?
I don't know if he ever confessed to murder.
He never murdered anybody. He ordered other people to murder people, so.
He probably did kill somebody.
Oh, probably.
You don't be a mob boss by not killing people.
I don't know. How am I supposed to know?
Anyways, the other theory is that Bugs Moran's crew killed a police officer's son and police did it for revenge. Which I can see that too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, these are not good guys.
What?
Let's be real here.
They're salt of the earth. Salt of the earth.
Hundreds of people who wanted them to not exist anymore. Yeah. So, people might be asking why the Chicago police sucked at the investigation.
Because they didn't care.
It was 1929. Didn't have forensic files back then, okay? But also, Chicago was full of corruption during Prohibition. Speakeasies, gangsters, bootleggers. They were all paying cops to do illegal things.
Listen, Prohibition was kind of ridiculous, right?
I mean,
you can't drink? Really? Yeah. Those teetotalers, isn't that what they're called?
Not the law I would have focused on as being ridiculous in the 20s. But sure. Not drinking, that was the most ridiculous thing in the 20s.
One of the most ridiculous things in the 20s. But, I mean, people were clever, man. I mean, I watched this show on something, and they bought a house, and it had whiskey from the 20s still inside the house where they were running it.
That is so cool.
I know, there's like 60 bottles.
I would have sold it.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they... Oh, well, they either kept it and drank it, or they sold it.
Well, I don't drink whiskey, so straight to the bank with that one. I'd be like, this is Al Capone's whiskey.
You gotta drink at least one bottle.
No. I think you mean I gotta open a bottle, take a sip, and then dump the rest down the sink.
You mean you can need to open the bottle, take a sip, give the rest to your husband.
He doesn't drink that much anymore either.
Give him a whiskey bottle.
But aside from all the corruption, it is also believed that Capone had detectives, like big ticket police officers on his payroll, paying about $5,000 a week at the time of the massacre.
Oh my gosh.
Which leads you to believe if Al Capone ordered the hit, it would be pretty obvious because you're paying $5,000 to these police officers to look the other way. What are you worried about?
I mean, they could have retired on that mug. Oh my God. You know what $5,000 from 1920 is today?
A lot.
$81,000.
More than I make in a year. And they were getting it in a week.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I mean, crime, it's so sad that crime pays so well.
Crime does pay. That's why there's criminals.
Yeah. It's just terrible. I mean, because you have the people who are honest and try to live a good life and try to build up something, and then you have the bad people. Always. They don't always do this, but if you draw enough attention, then they will come and try to wreck you.
Why pay attention?
Well, maybe they say something on a podcast that triggers somebody.
Oh, you're not talking about it. Okay. Yeah. It'll be you.
Oh, no, totally.
I'd be like, we do not share the same views or opinions.
She's absolutely uneducated and ridiculous.
My opinions are much harsher, which is why I tend to keep them right in here. So I don't get murdered every day.
See, mine are pretty mild comparatively if you just heard what she was thinking.
Which you didn't because you're not a mind reader.
But am I? I've known you a very long time.
I was actually just thinking about how many death threats I've actually have received in my life.
More than 2.
I feel like it's higher than the average person.
Well, you do rub people the wrong way.
Quite frequently.
You get it honest. You get it honest. From your dad. If you didn't follow that.
Oh, man.
I mean, seriously, how many people tried to kill that man?
I wish I had more information. A lot, actually.
More than normal.
Than kill me. more than those who have said they wanted to kill me.
Yeah. That's all you have is that 7-man, one I just can't get over the optometrist. I'm sorry. Why is an optometrist there?
Because gangsters need eyeglasses too. Duh.
Were they going in to pick up these glasses? And you can't have any back office work in the mafia or gangsters. Optometrist, you do the eyes. Nope, you got to go kill these people.
Well, maybe the optometrist was at the garage getting his car fixed by the mechanic. Okay. And somebody told the accountant there were problems with the books. And the other guys came on to make sure things were moving correctly. Or maybe they came to kill the accountant who was skimming money off the top. And the mechanic and the optometrist told on him.
Gotta be sleeping with them fishies.
That's right. But then they were all sleeping with the fishies because Al Capone or cops killed them.
It's gonna get some of those cement shoes.
I mean, which do you think is more believable? Do you think Al Capone did it or do you think the police did it?
They're both believable.
I know, but which one do you think is true? What if
They're
Al
both believable.
And the police did it?
What if Al Capone ordered the police who are on his payroll to do it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could really be both. That would be pretty realistic.
What if they are both parts true? Well, I do also know that the garage where the massacre happened was set to be demolished. And the wall with the bullet holes in it is now an exhibit at the Mob Museum. All right, here's some tidbits from the mobmuseum.org. Al Capone was never prosecuted for the crime. It is widely believed that he is behind the St. Valentine's Day massacre. Bullet holes are easily visible in the brick wall, but the new owner put red paint to enhance them. One of the men who was murdered in the massacre had a dog named Highball. He was there at the scene of the massacre and was so aggressive when police responded that they had to shoot him to death.
Oh, why do you have to say that part?
7 men are dead. R.I.P. puppy.
I mean, so the guys that were killed, who are they?
Mobsters.
So they're mobsters too.
The 7 men that were murdered were affiliated with Bugs Moran.
See, why would I not go, oh, poor puppy?
I'm like, were you listening at all during this episode? Who are they? Who are the dead guys? They're not affiliated.
I mean, yes, I have because I've probably been kind of just looking up slang and stuff that I could say from the 20s, like beef.
God.
And concrete shoes.
When I read the fact about the dog, I was really sad too. I was like, oh, exactly like you were.
So the guys who were associated with Bugsy and were murdered probably didn't do great things.
Really lucky Bugs Moran's crew's all dead. Because you just called him Buggy. I'm sure that's murder.
No, I didn't call him Buggy. I called him Bugsy.
That's worse.
Is it?
You're murdered. The mob killed you.
Well, we already know I'm already dead inside, so it's not like it would be a terrible murder.
Why would you say that on here for? Trying to earn a grippy sock vacation?
A what?
Psych ward. You're trying to go to the psych ward.
You guys just speak directly. Don't be cool.
Everyone else who's listening to this episode knows what a grippy sock vacation is. Or they're mentally well. Fun fact. I have been inside the hotel that Al Capone used to stay at when he was in Arkansas.
Which one is that?
I don't remember. It's a big white one. It has an ice cream shop in the basement, and that's where I went.
Oh, I think I actually want to go there. Isn't it haunted too?
Well, we have the kids, so we weren't doing like a macabre mystery mansion tour.
Well,
and we're like, hey guys, the infamous American gangster Al Capone used to stay here after he killed lots of people and evaded taxes.
Is it Crystal River?
What?
Crystal River? Is that it?
I don't think so. I want to say Arlington, but I don't think that's right either. Say something interesting while I look it up.
That's a terrible job for me.
Hot Springs, Arkansas, Al Capone Hotel. Oh my God, I was right. It's the Arlington Resort Hotel and Spa.
Well, I mean, it would make sense that you were more right than me because you've been there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful building. And it's right next to a really hot spring. Thanks for joining us with our very disorganized mobster episode.
Maybe we'll do another one where we're more organized because I love gangster stories.
Yeah, a different gangster story. We're not doing the same one.
Yeah, we have Babyface Nelson.
Oh, flipping God.
There's Bonnie and Clyde. All of them are about the same time.
Not Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, I mean, they're a little overdone, but I'm sure there's more. Chicago was a happening place, man. New York was a happening place.
We could just do a whole episode about Al Capone, and then a whole episode about Bugs Moran, and then a whole episode about Babyface Nelson, whatever his name. Well, anyways, join us next week as we talk about the great Alcatraz escape, where April will lead the episode.
Ooh, be ready to be entertained.
Yeah, you make me look bad when you do your episodes.
Why?
You're so much more organized than me. I'm just like, so I remember on that one source that I don't remember what it's called anymore, that they might have said this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I get excited about mine because I'm like, oh, damn, did you know this? What?
Anyways, join us next week as we talk about the great Alcatraz escape, which will be more organized than any episode I ever provide. Which is amazing because I'm really type A, but you really just can't tell.
I'm more type A than you, apparently.
I just think I'm stretched really thin.
You have stretched yourself a little thin.
Something's slipping. And right now it's my research skills. I read like 4 articles. Just can't remember any of them.
Oh my gosh. That's funny. Yeah, but join us next time when we go into Alcatraz. Not literally, because we're not going over there right now. Maybe another day.
That would be so fun though. Stay posted for the Alcatraz visit. Bye.
Bye.